And today, I want to talk about drag again. And what I want to talk about in this particular video is I want to talk about why I deem him as a failure, and why he's now become a statistic in the black community. You see, a lot of us know that typically when some black people go to college, they come out of college being arrogant and being cocky, and they forget where they come from. You know what I mean? But with drag, it's really, really, really weird because he was this way before he went to college. So he went to college. He went to college, and he got an education in the sciences or whatever, some form of biology or whatever he was doing. And he came out of school, and ever since he graduated, this is all we heard from him. I'm successful. I have a full-time job. I'm successful. I have a full-time job. I'm successful. I have a full-time job. And that's all he's saying. And then when confronted about, social issues in the black community, where you have a scientist, Sam, who has a loose tongue, this is his best friend, by the way, on the internet, where he comes on here and he makes that joke about George Floyd. He doesn't care, and he thinks it's funny. He thinks it's funny what Shani said. He thinks it's funny what scientist Sam said. And then all 10,000 of his subscribers is over there praising him and telling him what kind of a good person he is, while coming to my YouTube channel reminding me about what somebody else said. You know what I mean? So I find it really irritating listening to Dragnauct and rewatching that scene where he's asked a serious question. He can't even take social issues seriously. But I'm supposed to respect the fact that this man went to college. See, as far as I'm concerned, this person might as well have got his GED, because he didn't learn nothing when he was in school, except how to hang out with his elitist friends and sell out his own people, which is what he did. You want to know what makes this even more embarrassing for you, Drag? Consider what I do on the other channel. I go after the black Hebrew Israelites who wish scientist Sam to be dead and everybody like him to be dead. And I go in there and I defend the Jewish people that live in the nation of Israel. I defend them while putting the black Hebrew Israelites in their place and showing them that they're wrong. You know what you do? You support racial inequality. You support the idea of racial superiority. You believe, Drag, that it's okay for a person's race to be superior than the other. Now, mind you, I'm not all that surprised by this. I'm not going to act like I'm shocked about this. He's an evolutionist. I've been talking about the philosophy of evolution for a very long time on here. And he's got a superiority complex. No. I'm not going to ban him. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to expose him in the reaction community and show everybody why you guys are a bunch of hypocrites. Because tomorrow you guys will be on here being mad about what somebody else said, while not even dealing with the people that's in your own backyard. He can go out there and he can sexually harass all these other women. He can get away with that. Yes, I know all about that, okay? He can go out there and he can allow his friends. He can allow his friends to go out there and make racial slurs. And it's perfectly okay with Drag. And what does his 10,000 subscribers do? They worship him. Let's name the YouTubers just so that you guys can know how happy I am that I'm going to be exposing them as the people who support him. Number one, a so-called Christian, the Holy Spackle. A so-called Christian, Burnt Toast. Yes, Burnt Toast supports the behavior of Dragnauct Silvis, the joke that was made on the Geek Room, and nobody confronting him. Okay? Let's go on to this and whatnot, okay? Then you have Miss Parker. Now, I don't even like mentioning her because she's below human. She's subhuman. That woman doesn't care about nothing but Miss Parker. We already established that. No need to get into that no more. Mr. Parker is another person who agrees with this stuff too. Okay? Then there is some of these other YouTube channels. BGTV, we already know he supports it. XX Archive, XX, all these people that are part of the reaction community, these hypocrites, these people that go out there and claim that they're good people when they're not. They're not good people. There's nothing good about these people whatsoever. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, Psalms 14:1 says that the fool has said in his heart that there is no God. It is impossible to be good without God. It is impossible to be good without God. And Dragnauct Silvis is learning this the hard way. He cannot be good. He cannot do any good without God, because everything that he does is going to be motivated on selfish ambition. Okay? So he's a statistic for those of you who came here late. Because when I was saying this stuff, nobody was watching. But he's a statistic because in the black community, we actually expect some people who are black to go to college and to come out of college with a superiority complex, believing that they're better than everybody because they have a college degree. And that's Dragnauct Silvis. He'll be the first one to remind you, I got a college degree and I make $29 an hour. I make $8 more than somebody at Wendy's. Hallelujah. Well, Drag, I don't know if you noticed or not, but the person that works at the cashier at Walmart is making more money than you. There are cashiers at Walmart making $30 an hour. You ain't saying nothing, man. You ain't saying nothing. There are people at McDonald's making $25 an hour. And you went to college and put yourself in all that debt. Man, you need to shut up, Drag. Just shut up, dude. And stop embarrassing yourself. All right? There are people on YouTube that we both know that are making $100 per 30 minutes. So stop it, dude. You ain't doing nothing yet. So, like I said, in the black community, Drag would be considered a statistic. I also believe that he's a failure. And the reason why I believe that Dragnaugt's a failure, because he failed to know the true reason to go to school. For those of you who don't know nothing about the black community and don't have to be black yourself, we're always talking about empowerment, building up the black man, and just trying to, like, be a role model. Dragnauct actually said on my YouTube channel, no, not on my YouTube channel, on his YouTube channel, years ago, he said that there's not that many positive black role models in the media today. And guess what, Drag? You're one of them. This is social media, and you're not a role model. You're not someone that a child should watch and want to be like. I highly doubt we as a society would say, okay, it's good to be a bully. It's good to be a YouTube troll. It's good to waste your time destroying people's lives every single day. I highly doubt that's what we want to teach the next generation. But with you, hey, who never knows, man? Like I said, the world's changing every single day. But I believe you're a failure, dude, because you forgot the real reason to go to school, dude. And that's to get an education, to find a good job, and to encourage everyone and to encourage the rest of the people in the black community and outside of the black community to do the same thing. But that's not what you're doing, dude. You went to school. You got a good job. Well, you got a decent job. And you're belittling everybody. You're laughing at the homeless. You see, what I want to do is I want to take this Dragnauct that we have on YouTube, and I want to bring him to Haiti, one of the poorest countries on the planet. And I want to bring him to Haiti and have him talk to the Haitians like that. I want him to go and say, listen, I made $29 an hour and went to school, before they club him out of the country. I want him to go to Jamaica and have that attitude, or go to Trinidad or one of these other countries with the attitude, I went to college and I'm better than everybody else. I want to put him in a time machine and put him in front of Dr. Martin Luther King and put him in front of Malcolm X and have him talk like that. You understand what I'm saying? I want him to be in the middle of the civil rights movement when we barely had any rights in here as people here. See, this is the difference. I'm talking about matters that talk about things that matters. Drag ain't talking about these things. What I want to do is I want to put him in a time machine and bring him back in front of the civil rights movement. And I want to bring him there. And I want them to look at his example. Dragnauct, you are a failure, dude. You have failed the black community. You have failed your own personal family. You have made your mother embarrassed. You have made your father embarrassed. You have embarrassed your wife and your kids. And you have embarrassed me as a black man here on YouTube, because you are a horrible example of what a person should be when they get out of school. You're supposed to be teaching and being an example, and instead you're doing the exact opposite. Instead, you're acting like Al Capone, and you're acting like one of these criminals out there. You ain't no better than the riffraff that's on the street, dude. You ain't no better than that. Some people might say, gee, man, you're being hateful. For crying out loud, go watch the man's YouTube channel. Go watch his YouTube channel, and you will see what I'm talking about. More importantly, watch his older videos. If you really want to see his depravity, go watch his older videos and go look at what he was doing in the beginning. Go watch the videos when he visited other channels and he claimed he cared about education. Dragnauct don't care about education. Dragnauct wants the status that the education can bring him so people can get on their hands and knees and worship him, like Lubis does and Todd does. And it's sad because both of those guys got the same mentality as him. I've heard these people come in my room and say, when I go up, I want to be like Drag. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Listen to me. I don't like Scientist Sam. I think Scientist Sam's a jerk. I think scientist Sam is prejudiced. I think an argument can be made that the man's racist. Okay? But I tell you this, scientist Sam shows more of an education than Drag does. Scientist Sam shows a lot more of an education than Sam does. I'm sorry, scientist Sam shows more of an education than Drag does. Just keeping it real, man. I'm just keeping it real. You know what I mean? It's not even just them. If you go watch out how scientist Mel conducts herself, yeah, she's a bit cocky, she's a bit arrogant, but at least she acts like she's got an education. She acts like she has an education. Drag doesn't. He didn't learn anything. People skills. Listen, then talk. Empathize, not empathize. Know the situation when you're talking. Know how to dictate. Learn how to control the conversation. He doesn't know how to do none of this stuff. He sucks. You know what I mean? And it's embarrassing to me to hear this dude get on here and say, "I went to college and I'm better than every last one." Dude, shut up. You ain't. But you're not even better. You're not even better than your kid. I bet your kids got more manners in school than you do in your own personal life. So, Drag, man, you're a stat dude. You forgot everything. I don't know if you grew up poor. We'll love to hear your story one day. Knowing you probably grew up poor and says, "I can't wait to get away from these dirty black people. I'm going to go to school and I'm going to get educated and I'm going to think I'm better than everybody." That was your goal in life. Yeah, that's what you're living right now. You're living your dream. You're doing better than all the dirty black people that you was hanging around, dude. Congratulations. You're a failure, dude. You're an utter failure. You're an utter failure. Okay? And more than likely, you will create copies of yourself from BGTV, Miss Parker. You will have Lubis doing the things that you're doing. You already got Brent Toast doing what you're doing. And she actually believes she's a good person while doing it. No, listening to Burnt Toast is like listening to Al Capone, listen to Jack the Ripper, and trying to see who's a worse person, Jack the Ripper or Al Capone. Well, at least I organized crime. It didn't just go out there and go after women. That's how Burnt Toast sounds to me when I'm listening to her. Burnt Toast is so pathetic. She can't even stand by her work and show her face. But I don't need to see her face because I've seen her face. That's why I made the fat jokes. So it's like whatever, you know. Why am I continually harping on this though? And this is the part that's important for the Christians that are watching. At this point, the atheists stop listening and they're probably trolling or whatever, not reading the comments. Um, Never follow the example of a hypocrite. Typically, when we see a person doing drugs, you try not to do drugs yourself and then speak about it, right? Or typically, when you see somebody cussing, you probably shouldn't be cussing yourself before you start talking to them about their cussing. Drag's philosophy is that he's going to continue to do what you're doing and then have the nerve to go to you and talk about what's going on in your life. Drag does everything that everybody the things that he criticizes other people of, he does himself. He does it himself. So, and that needs to be understood. You know what I mean? And some of you, and thank you for the emails. There wasn't that many of them, but I got about maybe 5 emails over the weekend with people thanking me for the style that I use. Because I know a lot of you guys want to say the things that I say about this guy, and I get it. I understand. You know, he knows your personal information. He can go after you. I get and I understand that. But he doesn't know nothing about me. He wish he knew something about me. And I'm invincible with this dude. This dude can't do nothing to me that I can't do to him 5 times over. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep talking about this. Miss Parker smokes weed on camera. Miss Parker drinks alcohol on camera. Miss Parker don't need to be talking about nobody's substance abuse problems. Burnt Toast is a YouTube troll. She has no respectable reputation here on YouTube. No one cares what a troll thinks on YouTube. That is why a lot of times I don't respond to the stupid stuff that comes out of her mouth. I might find one random thing that she says and make fun of it, and that's about it. And then And then BGTV hasn't been saying nothing lately. You got the Geek Room. They're going to keep doing what they're doing because, like I said, they got to build their YouTube platform somehow. Nobody wants to hear about their dumb gaming. No, everybody could care less about Drag playing his video games. At least I know why they tune in to see him. You're not really tuning in to see Dragnauct. You're tuning in to hear about me and the people that he's talking about. And we all know it. Because we can tell when we compare his views that he gets when he's mixing his Kool-Aid. And he even admitted that that's the case. So it's like I said, it's neither here nor there. But I'm very proud of my work on here so far with exposing these people as being hypocrites. Because the jokes that I make on here with my YouTube shorts, with my little voiceovers and everything and whatnot, those are not done there to make fun of them per se. I do those things to show people what kind of hypocrites these people are at the end of the day. And they are hypocrites. Hypocrites don't have the right to judge nobody. I like what my Bible says. My Bible tells me to stay away from hypocritical judgment. Judge not, lest ye also be judged. And in the manner that you judge other people. Very important to remember that when you make videos like this. Get the pole out of your own eye before you talk about the sawdust in your brother's eye or in your neighbor's eye. You know what I mean? I want to get that branch out of my own eye before I talk about the stuff that's going on in somebody else's. And getting to me now and my imperfections and the things that I mess up in, I have no problem talking about it. Yes, I do not pronounce my words properly. Thank God that's not a real problem, though. There are deeper problems in the world. But I don't pronounce my words properly. Sometimes I don't spell right because I type real fast and I don't do spell check. Sometimes I get on here and I say things without researching my information first. You know what I mean? And I'm man enough to admit that because I'm a real man. I'm an old school type person. I'm not one of these new schoolers here today that think just because they got a platform they can just get away with saying anything that they want. No, I'm held accountable by the church. If Beckel hears me say something that is incorrect, I'm going to hear it. If rebuke and reprove hear me say something about something on here biblically that I'm not doing correctly, I'm going to hear it. I'm held accountable by my peers. Knowing is holding Drag accountable. That's why he can get away with all of the stupid stuff that he's doing. Beckel's not afraid of me. Rebuke and reprove is not afraid of me. Cherry Love is not afraid of me. These other religious people that I talk to on here, they're not afraid of me, and I respect that about them. Maybe because I'm new to, because I'm still fairly new to atheism. I only know about atheism for like the last 9 years or whatever. So maybe 8.5 years. But I'm still fairly new to it compared to some of the other people that's been dealing with them for their whole life. I just find it like it's just a phenomenon on how they behave and how they act, things that they do and the things that they say, how they behave, and how they go about getting on other people about the things that they do themselves, thinking that they should be heard. I don't know. To me, it's a phenomenon, and it's something to think about. You know what I mean? There are people out there with some really weird ideas out there. Okay, these people on here that identify as being atheists sound like they come from Mars sometimes, as far as I'm concerned. Because when I do my day-to-day real life, you don't hear people out in the real world doing and saying the things you hear these people do on the internet. Because they know they get punched in the face. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it is what it is. I'm going to keep praying for this community. And I'm going to ask God to continually try to save some of you. Even though some of you are very much content with going to the lake of fire and being tormented day and night with the devil and his angels. You'll say that the place don't exist, but you will never present any proof that it doesn't. You will never be able to show any logical reason why it doesn't exist. You will never be able to come up with an argument on why it doesn't exist. I believe that hell exists because by faith, based on what the scripture teaches. You know what I mean? And what I see going on in society. You know what I mean? I believe there's a lot of proof with that. I believe that 2,000 years ago, these sand dwellers, as you guys call them, was on point when they were talking about the gospel. And I see these really smart people here today talking about something doesn't exist. And then when you tell them they got a religion because they can't prove what they're saying, I mean, here's what it is. You can't tell me what happens when you die. None of you can. All you can say is by faith, I don't believe that hell exists. That's all you can say. You never scientifically research whether or not it exists or not. You know what I mean? And a lot of you deserve to go there. And I think it's about time that some of you guys admitted this. Lubis needs to say, look, I'm a jerk. I deserve, if hell exists, I deserve to go there. Drag needs to say, you know what, if hell exists, I need to go there too. Where he will be gnawing and gnashing his teeth, where he will be tortured forever. There will be no break. He deserves it because he continually rejects the gospel of Jesus Christ. And he does it over and over and over and over again. And it's not just him that deserves it. His supporters deserve it. The people that he influences to not believe that a God exists deserves to burn in the lake of fire. There are no arguments that these atheists can make anymore. That's why a lot of them decided to become comedians and become YouTube trolls on here. Because this is what they really were to begin with. They never cared about morality. They never cared about how many people got killed. They never cared about none of that stuff. I've been saying that since day one. All these people ever cared about was me, myself, and I, and that's it. Atheists are some of the most selfish people you are ever going to run into in your life. I don't like Muslims. But if a Muslim sees a hungry person, that Muslim's going to feed them. I ain't that crazy about Hinduism and Buddhism. But these people will go to these people and feed them. The only people I've ever run into that are this selfish are atheists. These are some of the most selfish people I have ever seen in my life. They are the most selfish. It's like nobody else exists but them. They are the most insensitive people you're ever going to run into. It's just a phenomenon. It's just weird to me. But I probably should have called this, and I probably might rechange the title on this, that Dragnauct activates failure mode. But then again, that wouldn't be true. That would be a false title. Because in reality, he's become, if you think about it as an atheist, he's become the very thing that he despises. Dragnauct doesn't like the idea of a God telling him how to live his life and what to do. He doesn't like a supreme ruler telling everybody what is right and wrong. But if you think about it, Dragnauct has become a supreme ruler telling out all 10,000 of his subs what is right and what is wrong. He has become the very thing that he hates. You guys can keep worshiping him and going, acting like he's accomplished something. He accomplished something. He accomplished God mode. Because now he's looking down at you little people saying, I got 10,000 subs. Let me tell you what's right and what's wrong. Because Dragnauct said so. I'll never forget the day these atheists told me nobody tells me what to do. I bet you $50. That's not true. I'm sorry, guys. I got these mosquitoes and these gnats coming on my phone. I gotta blow them off. But Dragnaugt's become the very thing that he despises and he hates. He's become religious. He has a following that blindly devotes worship to him and believes everything that comes out of his mouth without providing a shred of evidence. Dragnaugt's not an atheist, dude. That dude's a pagan. That dude's a straight up pagan. All right, y'all think about that and let me know in the chat if you think that's stupid what I just said. But that's how I look at the dude. Pretty soon we're not gonna be talking about this guy no more because I think it's about time I turn my attention back on the Geek Room, on Frank, and I want to examine his stalking nature and how he treats women. And it's about time we started doing that. Then I want to start getting on Tatted Jedi. Like I want to dedicate a 2-hour show just on the Tatted Jedi and how he behaves, what I've observed over the last year watching him, and what kind of a sorry human being that he is. It's really easy for them to say G-Man, 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 D-Roy, Vaughn. And now it's your turn to take some criticism. Now it's your turn to have to sit there and listen to this stuff for a long time. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And I don't care if you don't like it. You should have thought about that before you started doing this. Because once you did this, now it's your turn. And that's it. That's how I look at it. But again, Drag, I don't look at you as a success, dude. You're a failure. You went to college, you forgot where you came from, you graduated, you forgot where you came from, and all you're doing is bragging about having a piece of paper that you're probably doing nothing with, and you're putting down people who's homeless and people that don't got anything. You called me homeless, and you know that's not true, but you called me homeless. Let's just run with that for a minute. You make $29 an hour, you went to college, and you served in the military by taking people's pulses and checking their blood pressure. You never fought in no war. I don't consider boot camp a challenge, dude. Anybody can go do that. I'm in way better physical shape than you, dude. I go to boot camp and slaughter you, dude, with that physical challenge and all of that. With a bad back on top of that. You care to challenge me on that? Let's go to a jungle gym and see who do better, dude. It won't be you, that's for sure. But these bugs are having me for dinner. The thing I want you guys to take away from this is that Dragnauct Silvis is a hypocrite. All right? And everybody that's following him ain't nothing but a bunch of hypocrites. Okay? We don't go to college so we can get a degree and put down homeless people. We don't go to college and get a degree so we can come out with a superiority complex. We go to college so we can better the future, so we can get a good job and better the future for our clan, for our family. That's why we go to college. You know what I mean? You get educated in the field, you get a good job, and to provide for our families. You never go to college, come out and graduate thinking you're better than somebody, because I promise you this, there's always somebody out there smarter than you. There's always somebody out there smarter than you. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys later. The fact of the matter is that I look at Drag. I mean, you guys see him, y'all look at a deity. I look at Drag, I look at a fool. Because that is precisely what he is, a fool.